It was a calm afternoon at a neighborhood store when three men pulled up in a car and parked just outside the entrance. Nothing seemed unusual at first, but moments later, the three men stepped out of the vehicle and walked into the store together. As soon as they were inside, their intentions became clear. They attempted to rob the store, threatening the cashier and demanding money. Customers inside froze as tension quickly filled the room, but the cashier was prepared. In a split second, he reached below the counter and pulled out a licensed firearm. Before the thieves could fully react, he fired toward them, forcing them to retreat. The sudden response caught the robbers off guard. Two of the thieves immediately turned and ran toward the exit. Chaos broke out as they rushed outside and jumped back into their waiting car. However, one of the thieves wasn't fast enough. The cashier managed to stop him before he could escape. With the help of others nearby, the suspect was restrained and held until police arrived. The other sped away in their vehicle, but authorities were alerted with descriptions of the car. Officers arrived quickly, secured the store. It was late in the evening when a police officer returned home after her shift. The neighborhood was quiet as she slowly reversed her car into her garage. Suddenly, a white car pulled up in front of her house. Before she could fully react, three men stepped out of the vehicle and began firing at her car. The attack was swift and unexpected. Inside the vehicle, the officer remained focused despite the chaos. Drawing on her training, she quickly reached for her legally carried firearm. From inside her car, she returned fire in defense, forcing the attackers to retreat. The suspects, caught off guard by her response, rushed back into their white car. Within seconds, they sped away from the scene, abandoning the attack. The officer immediately secured herself, contacted emergency services, and reported the incident. Additional units arrived shortly after to investigate the attempted ambush. Thanks to her calm reaction and professional training, the officer survived the attack and prevented the situation from escalating further. It was a Monday afternoon when a man was walking home from work along a quiet street. The road wasn't crowded, and he was just a few blocks away from home. Suddenly, a motorcycle carrying two thieves pulled up beside him. The bike stopped abruptly. One of the thieves demanded that the man hand over his belongings. The situation escalated quickly as they attempted to rob him, leaving the victim startled and unsure of what to do. At that same moment, a passerby driving down the street noticed the commotion. He steered his car toward the thieves' motorcycle and rammed into it, knocking the bike off balance. The impact sent both thieves tumbling to the ground along with their motorbike. Stunned and disoriented, the thieves quickly scrambled to their feet. Without stopping to continue the robbery, they grabbed their bike, got back on, and sped away from the scene as fast as they could. The passerby immediately stopped his car and checked on the victim to make sure he was safe. Thankfully, the man was unharmed, though shaken by the experience. Police were called, and the area was secured, thanks to the quick thinking and bold action of a stranger. It was a quiet evening inside a neighborhood liquor store when a man walked in acting suspiciously. He quickly grabbed a pack of beer and headed straight for the exit without paying, but the store owner was watching closely. Before the man could make it out, the owner locked the door, blocking the escape. Realizing he couldn't get out, the thief dropped the beer onto the floor, trying to act casual. After a tense moment, the store owner unlocked and opened the door, ready to confront him. That's when the thief made another attempt. He lunged back toward the beer, grabbed it again, and tried to dash out the door. The store owner reacted immediately, grabbing hold of the beer and refusing to let go. A struggle broke out right at the entrance as both men pulled in opposite directions. Determined not to let his merchandise be stolen, the store owner overpowered the thief, forcing him to release his grip. Outmatched and frustrated, the thief gave up on the beer and ran toward his car parked outside. The store owner stood at the doorway, beer recovered, and store secured. Thanks to his quick action and determination, the attempted theft failed. Within seconds, he sped away empty-handed. Late at night, a group of looters pulled up outside a closed store. Armed with hammers, they rushed toward the entrance and began striking the glass door, trying to smash their way inside. The sound of metal hitting glass echoed, again and again. They swung their hammers, expecting the glass to shatter. But the reinforced door refused to give way. It cracked slightly but remained intact. Inside the store, the owner heard the noise and quickly realized what was happening. Staying behind cover, he retrieved his legally owned firearm. As the looters continued attempting to break in, The store owner fired warning shots from inside the shop. The sudden gunfire shocked the group, caught off guard and enabled a breach to the door. The looters immediately panicked, ran back toward their vehicle. Within seconds, they fled the scene, abandoning their attempt. The store owner remained inside and contacted authorities. Police arrived shortly after to assess the damage and secure the area. Because of reinforced security and a swift response, the attempted robbery failed. It was early evening when a man and a woman were walking home from a nearby store. They carried small shopping bags and were chatting as they made their way down the street. Suddenly, a motorbike with two men pulled up directly in front of them. The riders blocked their path and demanded their belongings. The situation escalated quickly, and the couple realized they were being robbed. For a brief moment, everything froze. Then the man reacted. Seeing an opportunity, he lunged toward one of the thieves and tackled him off the motorbike. The two fell to the ground, struggling as the thief tried to break free. The sudden resistance caught the robbers completely off guard. At the same time, nearby bystanders noticed the commotion. People from the street rushed toward the scene. As the second thief attempted to assist his partner, members of the crowd stepped in and restrained him. Within moments, both suspects were overwhelmed and pinned down by the group. The stolen items were recovered, and the couple moved to safety while others held the thieves firmly on the ground. Police were called and soon arrived to take control of the situation. The two thieves were placed under arrest as the crowd slowly dispersed. What began as a frightening encounter ended with unity and quick action from ordinary people who refused to stand by. It was early evening on a Tuesday when a man was riding his motorcycle home from work. Suddenly, another motorcycle carrying the suspicious men sped up from behind and swerved in front of him, blocking his path. The two thieves ordered him to get off his motorcycle. At first, the rider thought they were armed. Not wanting to risk his life, he stepped off the bike and slowly backed away, raising his hands in fear. One of the thieves remained seated on their motorcycle while the other stepped down and moved toward the man's bike. He grabbed the handlebars and attempted to start it. As this was happening, the rider carefully watched their movements. That was when he realized something important. The thieves were not armed after all. Seeing his opportunity, the rider acted quickly. He rushed forward and tackled the thief who was trying to steal his motorcycle. The two men struggled, falling to the ground as the rider fought to regain control. Caught off guard, the thief was unable to escape the rider's grip. Meanwhile, the second thief panicked. Seeing his partner being overpowered, he abandoned the scene and sped away on their motorcycle. The commotion drew the attention of passers-by. Several people rushed over to help. Together, they assisted the rider in pinning the thief down, making sure he could not get away. Police were called and arrived shortly after. The captured thief was taken into custody, while the rider, though shaken, had successfully prevented the theft of his motorcycle. On a hot Sunday afternoon, a man was riding his motorbike home from work when his journey suddenly turned dangerous. As he slowed down on a quiet road, two thieves on another motorbike rode in front of him and blocked his path. One of the thieves pointed a gun at the man, threatening him and demanding that he step off his motorbike and hand over the keys. Fearful for his life, the man obeyed and moved away from the bike. Just as the thieves were about to ride off with both motorbikes, an off-duty police officer who was across the road noticed what was happening. Realizing that an armed robbery was in progress, the officer quickly got out of his car and took action. He fired his gun at the armed thief on the stolen motorbike, stopping the robbery. Seeing this, the second thief panicked and escaped on his own motorbike. The police officer then secured the situation and checked on the victim, who was shaken but unharmed. Thanks to the officer's quick response and bravery, the man was saved, and his motorbike was recovered. The incident showed how alertness and courage can make a critical difference in moments of danger. On a sunny Thursday afternoon, inside a busy shopping mall, people are walking around and minding their business. A woman was casually shopping when suddenly a thief rushes toward her, snatches her purse, and takes off running at full speed. Shoppers shout in surprise as he runs with the speed of light, trying to escape. Focused only on getting away, the thief runs straight ahead without looking. He charges toward what he thinks is an open exit, but it is actually a closed glass door. He smashes into the glass door head-on and immediately falls to the ground. The loud crash draws everyone's attention. Mall security and nearby shoppers quickly surround the thief, stopping him from getting up or running away. The stolen purse is recovered and returned to the woman, who is shaken but in harm. Moments later, police arrive at the scene. The thief is taken into custody. On Christmas Day, the 25th of December 2019, an armed robber walked into the store with confidence, pulling out a gun and pointing it around as customers and staff froze in fear. He shouted for the cashier to hand over the money, moving closer to the counter as tension filled the room. Behind the counter, one of the sales personnel stayed calm. While the robber was focused on the cash register, the worker quietly grabbed a nearby fire extinguisher. In one sudden move, the sales personnel activated it. A loud burst filled the store as thick white powder sprayed into the air, completely covering the robber and blocking his vision. Disoriented and confused, he stumbled backward, unable to see or control the situation anymore. The gun dropped from his grip as he tried to wipe his eyes. Other staff and customers quickly moved to safety while the robber was overwhelmed and unable to continue. Within moments, help arrived and the situation was brought under control. What could have ended badly was stopped by quick thinking and courage, turning a moment of fear into a day that ended safely for everyone. On a sunny Monday afternoon, a woman walks home from the market carrying her purse. The road is active with people moving in different directions. A motorbike suddenly speeds and then stops directly in front of her. Two men move quickly toward her and grab her purse. She resists and holds onto it firmly. The struggle slows the attackers. She does not let go and continues to resist while drawing attention through her actions. People nearby begin to notice what is happening. The attackers abandon the attempt and rush back onto their motorbike. As they try to escape, the bike wobbles and loses balance. Both men fall to the ground. Passers-by immediately surround them. The men are prevented from escaping and restrained. Someone retrieves the purse and returns it to the woman. Authorities are contacted. The woman stands aside, shaken but safe, holding her belongings. People disperse as the situation is brought under control. On a cool Saturday evening, the 26th of July 2020, a woman was sitting quietly in front of her house, enjoying the calm of her surroundings. The street appeared peaceful, and nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Suddenly, a motorbike approached and stopped in front of her house. Two men were riding on the motorbike, and while one remained seated with the engine running, the other got down. The man who stepped off the motorbike pretended to walk past the woman as if he was just a passerby. He acted casually and did not raise any suspicion. Without warning, he suddenly turned around and ran toward the woman. He grabbed her purse while she was still sitting, hoping to snatch it quickly and escape. However, the woman refused to give up her purse. She held onto it tightly and struggled to prevent the thief from taking it. In the process, she managed to grab the thief's helmet. Using the helmet, she struck him repeatedly until he lost control and backed away. Surprised by her resistance, the thief abandoned both the purse and his helmet. The thief quickly ran back to the motorbike, jumped on behind his partner, and the two men sped away from the scene. The woman was left standing in front of her house. The store was busy, people chatting, scrolling on their phones. Nothing felt unusual. Then the door opened. A man stepped inside, tense and aggressive. He raised a weapon and shouted for everyone to stay still. The room froze instantly. Fear spread fast. Customers were ordered to hand over their phones, wallets, and bags. One by one, belongings were dropped onto his hands. No one argued. No one moved too fast. Everyone just wanted to leave alive. The robber paced back and forth, yelling, watching every movement. The tension was heavy. You could hear people breathing, but something else was happening too. A few customers exchanged glances. Silent understanding, not panic focus. The robber turned away for a moment, distracted by gathering the items. That moment mattered. Without warning, several customers moved together, not recklessly, decisively. The robber stumbled as he was overwhelmed from different directions. The weapon hit the floor. The store erupted into noise, shouting, scrambling, fear turning into action. The customers restrained the man, keeping distance from the weapon. Someone called the police. Others helped calm the people who were shaking. Minutes later, sirens filled the air. Police arrived, secured the scene, and took the robber into custody. The stolen belongings were returned. No one was seriously hurt. The store was quiet again, but everything had changed. What could have ended in tragedy ended in courage.